Okay. So in the real world, when we find linear relationships, usually we're looking at data. Okay. The problem is that there aren't very many things that behave perfectly linearly. Okay. There's a lot of things that behave in a linear type of way. Look at this data. Notice I don't have any x or y values marked because I really don't care. I'm just going for a general idea. I see that the data here is climbing steadily in a linear fashion, but it's not perfectly linear. Right? If I were to try to connect all these dots, it'd be kind of a zigzag. Right? Well, making a zigzag is kind of difficult to do mathematically, and it's possible, but it's not very fun. Okay. Well, it is fun, but not at this point in the game. So what we want to do is we want to make a straight line that sort of represents the data. Now the straight line does not have to include any of your data. Okay? So I could say that my straight line that represents the data kind of looks like that. Right? Notice it's not touching any of the data points really. Okay? Well, but that's okay because it's sort of describing what's going on. I could also choose a couple of data points and say, well, if I choose those two data points, they could describe what's going on. Like maybe if I chose this point and this point here. Okay. Those two data points kind of describe what's going on. And if I wanted to create an equation, okay, what I could do is identify what those two data points are. Where I've got an x and a y. And I've got an x2 and a y2, right? And we can go back a chapter and we can make an equation with two data points. The third thing I can do is but we have to be careful which data points we choose, okay? If we're going to do that method. Because if we were to pick, say, these two data points here, those two data points, yes, it's two data points that are included in the data, but they're not really describing what it is that we're doing. So we want to make sure the data that we use describes what's going on. Okay. The other thing we can do is we can use the calculator, and this calculator has this handy-dandy tool called a regression tool. Okay, and it's a linear regression tool, and that is in the handout that's been given, posted. And there's also ways to use that depending which calculator you have on the little calculator help section. And there's a couple of videos, I believe, that are posted that can help you with that. Okay, and what the calculator does, it just says, I'm going to give equal weight to all of these data points. Okay, and then I'm going to make a model that doesn't necessarily include all these data points, so these data points don't fall on it, but each data point has equal value. Okay? And for the most calculators, you do that by, you have this table, x and y values, plug that into a table. After you've plugged it into a table, then you go to a statistics tool. The statistics tool will then take the information and create that regression. Okay, and you can graph the data as well, which I believe is in the handout on how to do that. I'm not going to show you here because everybody has a slightly different calculator. Okay, but the information is there.